Well, hello everybody. My name's Louise Savage of Louise Savage Muses. A very warm welcome if you're a returning viewer, and an equally warm welcome if you are watching my channel for the very first time. Now, I am absolutely oozing excitement because, as you can see, I've got these two boxes. I've got a very big box. It's very heavy. I can hardly lift it. And then this smaller box on the top. And inside these packages are the books that have been longlisted for the second ever only Women's Prize for Nonfiction. Now, last year, as many of you will know, I was privileged enough to receive the long list, and I set myself the challenge of reading the entire long list and vlogging about it as I went. I'm going to endeavour to do the same thing this year, although there are a few caveats around it, because I've got a much busier schedule over the next 6 weeks than I'd anticipated. Last year I just retired and the whole sort of 6 weeks was clear. This year I've picked up various jobs and things that I'm going to be doing, so you know, I'm hoping I'll manage it. That's the intention, and I'm very optimistic. But what I am going to do this year is be kinder to myself, in that if I'm struggling with a book after the first 100 pages, maybe even 50, I don't know, I am controversially going to allow myself to DNF it. So I'm really sorry if that upsets anyone. Anyway, the Women's Prize for Nonfiction, I think, is tremendously important. I think that if we really want to get to a place of gender equality, then we need to have men and women and men and men and men reading more books written by women, and I think men read more non-fiction than fiction, and I think, you know, maybe this is a really good way of gently encouraging men to pick up more non-fiction by women. So there we are. So that I'm passionate about it, and also by the time I'd finished reading the non-fiction long list last year, I felt like I'd had the most amazing education. I felt like I'd done some sort of mini degree, because there was such a variety of titles, topics, writers within the umbrella of that non-fiction long list. So I'm really hopeful that the same thing is going to happen this year, and that there'll be some incredible books in here that are going to really educate me and inform me about the wider world. So without further ado, I'm going to open the boxes. Now, big box first or little box first? I think I'm going to go little box first, just because it's easier. And I've got the boxes ready because I wanted to share this with you, and I am going to have to pop my spectacles on at some point, and there will be probably really weird reflections and things going on in my glasses, so apologies for that, because it's a really gloomy day out there. I took myself off for a walk this morning and got absolutely drizzled to death. Very soggy when I got back, but I did feel good. My cheeks, in fact, I think they're still looking quite red from that walk. So I'm going to unpackage the books, and also I've not made any predictions. I don't know, you know, I haven't been busy scouring the new releases lists on women's non-fiction for this year. I'm coming at this completely and utterly in a position of wonderful ignorance, which I suspect some of you may be, and some of you may be better informed. So I can't even open this box. This does not augur well. Here we are. I'm ripping it apart as we speak. I hope this is a book. It is a book. Ooh. So this is called, and I have not come across this. Well, I probably won't have come across any of them. So this is called, can you see? I hope you can see. This is called Tracker by Alexis Wright. And my first impression is, I just love the way this is bound. I'm just wondering, let's have a look. Oh, it's a memoir. It's a non-fiction memoir. And it says the best story is the Walpurgis invasion of Europe. I don't know whether I spelled that right. When we went to the UN. I went to the United Nations originally, and I said this is all wonderful. But it is really a talk fest where the Australian government gets up and tells the world how good they treat the blacks. When you compare that to Africa or South Africa, we are way out in front in terms of money and spending and treatment. The Australian government, kept doing this. I said to Dobson, we've got to outthink this process, I said. We need to bring a bit of culture. So this looks like a memoir. It looks as though it's to do with, yes. So a larger-than-life champion of Aboriginal self-determination, Tracker Tilmouth was whip-smart, irreverent, startling and deadly serious. This looks fascinating. So it's a story about... it looks as though it's not a story. I need to stop saying that. It looks like it's a series of sort of testaments about the indigenous population of Australia. So there we go. I've never heard of it. I will say it's absolutely minute font. I love the feel of the book, but I'm sort of slightly, yeah, that there's a lot of reading to be done here. You know, a lot of words to get through, I think. So yeah, no, and it's got really good reviews from The Guardian, from the Stella Prize, etc. A unique, majestic biography. So actually it looks like it's not a memoir, it's a biography of Tracker Tillman. Is that the right name? Yeah, Tilmouth, Tracker Tilmouth. There we are. So we shall see. There's a review at the beginning by a professor as well. So there we are. So Antipodean, a book from the Antipodes, which I don't think that happened last year. So that's a first too. There we go, Tracker. So I thought it meant tracker as in, oh, sorry, I've disappeared. Because I'm trying to open this box with you. In order to open it with you, I've raised it up and then you can't see my face. I was going to say my lovely face, but I think that's a matter of taste. Right, so yeah, I thought it meant tracker as in tracking people down, as in a tracker of people, but it looks like it was this person's name. Right, so I'm going in. She's diving in. She's diving in. She's... Oh, can you hear that? I love this stuff. I can't remember what it's called now. Loads of paper. So the first book that I got my eyes on. Oh, again, I haven't seen this. So this is called Sister-in-Law, and this is fighting for justice in a system designed by men. The Times have said it's compelling, shocking and inspiring. It's by Harriet Wistrich. So Sally Challen won her appeal to overturn her conviction for the murder of her coercively controlling husband. It was with Harriet Wistrich at her side. When victims of taxi driver and serial rapist John Warboys successfully took the Metropolitan Police to court for their investigative failures, that's a hard word to say, and then 4 years later helped to hold the parole board to account for their decision, it was Harriet Wistrich. So it looks like Harriet Wistrich was some sort of, or is some sort of lawyer, and this looks like this is a series of chapters about the different cases that she was involved in. That's a first glance. So it's not sister-in-law as in relative. I'm misjudging these titles beautifully, aren't I? It's sister-in-law as in the law. Good. And I'm very pleased to say that this font is a much bigger size than in the tracker book. What else? I'm not even going to look. I'm just going to... Oh, I'm feeling a hardback. So what's this? Oh, so this is a book by Lulu Miller, and this is called Why Fish Don't Exist. I thought fish existed. It looks like I'm going to be proved wrong. So already we've got Aboriginal rights, we've got a book about the law, and now this is a story of loss, love, and the hidden order of life. A tale so seductive that I read her book in one sitting. That's the Wall Street Journal saying that. So as a child, Lulu Miller's scientist father taught her that chaos will come for us all. There is no cosmic destiny, no plan. Enter David Starr Jordan, 19th century taxonomist and believer in order. A fish specialist devoted to mapping out the great tree of life, who spent his days pinning down unruly fins, studying shimmering scales and scaling new discoveries into jars of ethanol. So this is a book about taxonomy, about science. Oh, there's some rather lovely illustrations as well. I love the paper on this. It's that lovely sort of slightly rough. Oh, there's a chapter called On Delusion. I'm getting good vibes here. Look. Yes. So that's, you know, so we've got some biology going on now. So already, you know, we're going all over the topics. What have we got next? Raising Hare. Now, I have heard about this book by Chloe Dalton. I'm trying to think how and why I've heard it, but I've certainly heard people recommending it. Clare Balding liked it, as did Michael Morpurgo. I need to stop disappearing off the screen in my excitement. And Chris Packham. Chris Packham said this book is exceptional. It's a glorious book. It's warm, it's precise, it's joyful. Angelina Jolie's read it and liked it. Lovely images of hares there. What does it say about it? When lockdown led busy professional Chloe to leave the city and return to the countryside of her childhood, she never expected to find herself custodian of a newly born hare. Yet when she finds the creature endangered, alone and no bigger than her palm, she's compelled to give it a chance at survival. So it chronicles the journey of her existence with this hare. And again, there's some nice little or did I thought I saw some illustrations. I think I'm imagining it. Yeah, lovely. A really nice feel to it in the palm as well. It's a slightly broader shape than hardbacks normally. Really like the look of that. Good. So I'm going to be finding out all about fish and hares. What else have we got? Oh, this. Now I think I might know about this story. The Story of a Heart by Rachel Clarke. A story of death and life and how one incredible family gifted a miracle to another. I think I've listened to a podcast or a radio program that talks about this family, and I think it's a family where one child donates their heart to another. Yes, it is. One summer day, 9-year-old Kira suffered catastrophic injuries, can't get my words out, in a car accident. Though her brain and the rest of her body began to shut down, her heart maintained its rhythm. In an act of extraordinary generosity, Kira's parents and siblings agreed that she would have wanted to be an organ donor. Meanwhile, 9-year-old Max had been hospitalised for nearly a year with a virus that was causing his young heart to fail. So yes, so it's about the donation of one heart from one child to another. And certainly the snatches that I heard on whatever platform it was really moved me. So I think this is going to be a tough read. I think it's going to tug at the heartstrings, and yeah, well, what a range already. Lovely colours as well, look. That's lovely. And that embrace on the cover. Oh, sorry, you've got, yeah, there we go. Ooh, I'm getting really excited now. I'm already thinking which of those am I going to start with. Now, Jenni Fagan's Ootlin. I read a novel of Jenni Fagan's not very long ago, and again, I do know a little bit about this. This is, I think, pretty sure this is her memoir, and I think she grew up in Clare. So, yeah, an astonishing piece of work. It is a memoir. It's a story of resilience. The government told a story about me before I was born. Jenni Fagan was property of the state before birth. She drew her first breath in care, and by the age of 7, she'd lived in 14 different homes and had her name changed multiple times. So yeah, this is her memoir. It's about the very human act of making meaning from adversity. I think this is a very me sort of memoir, very me sort of book. And I think 2 books in a row where my heartstrings are going to be tugged at. And I'm assuming that's a picture of Jenni as a child. I don't know whether it says. Probably does somewhere. Yeah, no, I can't see it, but it will. I'm sure it will say so somewhere. Yeah, great. So looking forward to that one. What else have we got? Ooh, this is a very dark looking book. I pulled it out and I thought, ooh, that looks a bit bleak. It's called Autocracy Inc. The Dictators Who Want to Run the World by Anne Applebaum. Again, a winner of the Pulitzer Prize. So I don't know whether this book won it or whether Anne Applebaum has won it. no, the author. So the author is Pulitzer winning. So all of us have in our minds a cartoon image of what an autocratic state looks like. There is a bad man at the top. He controls the army and the police. There are evil collaborators and maybe some brave dissidents. But in the 21st century, that image bears little resemblance to reality. Nowadays, autocracies are underpinned by sophisticated networks composed across multiple regimes from China to Russia to Iran. So this is going to be a really political read. Now, that's interesting because last year it was Naomi Klein's Doppelganger that won the prize. And I would say that was quite a political piece of writing. And several of the other books that I read were also political too. So yeah, another hugely different, you know, real topic shift from the other books that have come out so far. Very interesting. I'm just going to move around a moment because because my legs are going dead. I'm not used to kneeling down for so long. The things that I do for my audience. Right, what have we got here? So Kate Summerscale, can't even say it. The Peepshow. Oh, the murders at 10 Rillington Place. Interesting. A gripping account of murder, misogyny and spectatorship. And yeah, and that comes from Sarah Waters, who I am a massive fan of her writing. Oh, I really like the what do you call them, these inside pages? My brain's gone. Really good photograph there. London, 1953. Police discover the bodies of 3 young women hidden in a wall. It's a very famous murder story, isn't it, about Christie and the reporter Henry Proctor chasing after the scoop. So I think this is going to be, that's going to be a riveting, as it says in here, I think that's going to be a riveting read. Again, very, very different. So we've got the press, we've got a murder story, and the title, The Peepshow, suggests that I think this book is going to be perhaps critical of crime. I'm going to move the box now because my legs are going dead, and I'm going to bring it down here. I might even end up sitting on here. We will see. You can see I planned this really well. Sorry, I just nudged the camera. Lucky it didn't fall over, really. Oh, brilliant. Do you know, I had a secret hope that this might be in this box because I've been wanting to read this. So this is Neneh Cherry's memoir, 1,000 Threads, and she's the most amazing singer. But I've heard her do a lot of interviews. It says musician, songwriter, collaborator, activist, mother, daughter, lover, friend, icon. This is her story. I mean, I'm in. No, I heard her when she was sort of on the circuit talking about this book some months ago. I thought, I really, really want to read that. And at the back of my mind, I was kind of hoping it would be longlisted for the Women's Prize for Nonfiction. And indeed it has. So that is marvellous. Oh, and it's full of photographs. Look, yeah, really sort of personal photographs. Oh, that's great. Oh, I'm so happy with this box of books, can't tell you. What else have we got? Oh, so this is Yuan Yang, and it's called Private Revolutions, Coming of Age in a New China. And I love finding out about China. So that's, yeah, I'm talking about, it's all about me. This is a book about the coming of age of 4 women born in China in the 1980s and 90s in a society about to transform beyond recognition. So you've got these 4 people, one's on the factory floor, one set herself an impossible goal to attend university rather than raise pigs. That sounds like quite a difficult goal. Somebody who's bottom of her English class, somebody who's an activist. Oh wow. So I think again this looks like it's going to give a really interesting insight into the lives of young women in China. Fantastic. Yeah, I like the look of that a lot as well. Lovely cover. Like, I think they're cranes, aren't they, those birds on the front? Yeah, nice. Wow, how many so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I reckon there's going to be another 6 maybe. Oh, this, wow. This one takes the prize for the heaviest one so far. So what's this one? The Eagle and the Hearth. Oh, so we've got some history now by Helen Castor. The Tragedy of Richard II and Henry IV. Wonderful, because I know nothing about this period in British history, so I'll be very interested to read this, and I do love my history. If ever a book of history was blessed with contemporary relevance, this is one. The dumbfounding, delusional, narcissistic King Richard, the white-knuckle ride of Henry IV, dogged all the way by notions of illegitimacy. I feel these men could have been ripped from today's headlines. This sounds really good. Again, it's a hefty read. There's a lot of pages. It's very heavy. It's lovely paper actually, and a nice gentle font on the eyes. So Helen Castor wrote She-Wolves, which again I've seen in bookshops a lot and picked up a few times, but not actually bought. So there we are. It is a story about power and masculinity in crisis. I like a bit of masculinity in crisis, can't lie. Marvellous. Now what next? So we have Rebecca Nagle, I hope I pronounced that right, By the Fire We Carry, the generations-long fight for justice on native land. So this looks like it might be going back to similar themes to the tracker book that I first pulled out of the box. Breathtaking essential reading. Sorry, I'm sorry, apologies. I'm not used to videoing from the floor, as you can probably tell. Breathtaking essential reading for anyone yet to understand who US law exists to serve and who it exists to exploit. Nagle's book achieves impeccable balance. It's a call for hope, which still never loses sight of the labour and blood underpinning every victory in this rigged system. And that's a quote from Noreen Masood, who was shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Nonfiction last year. It's a fiery account, a powerful work of reportage in American history that braids together the story of the forced removal of Native Americans onto treaty lands in the nation's earliest days, and a small town murder in the 1990s that led to a Supreme Court ruling reaffirming native rights. Now, I really like it when history, a big sweeping historical topic, is told but also underpinned by one specific personal story. I think that can work really well. So again, oh my goodness, the thing is, I just said earlier on that I was going to DNF, but looking at these, I can't imagine that any of these are not going to meet with my approval. Agent Z, the untold story of fearless World War II resistance fighter Elzbieta Zawaka. I don't know if I pronounced that right, by Clare Mulley. So now we've got the story of some sort of spy, resistance fighter, soldier hero known as Zoe. The story is told with flair, passion and insight. Hallie Rubenholt liked it. What else does it say about it? During the Second World War, Zoe was the only woman to reach London as an emissary of the Polish Home Army Command, before becoming the only female member of the Polish elite special forces known as the Silent Unseen. Wow. So following secret training in the British countryside, she also became the only woman to be parachuted back behind enemy lines into Nazi-occupied Poland. This looks like a really, really good read. And again, I love a story that plants an unknown woman, or at least unknown to me, that kind of puts a spotlight on the tremendous achievements of women from the past who have been pretty much unsung. So that looks like a fantastic Women's Prize book. Still seems to be quite a few in. Oh, another really heavy one. Oh, wow, an art book. So this is Wild, A Life of Paul Gauguin, the artist. Oh no, Wild Thing. Pay attention, Louise. Isn't that a wonderful cover? Again, I really enjoyed the Thunderclap, the art book that was shortlisted last year. So this is, you know, the post-impressionist artist Paul Gauguin, scintillating account of a richly complicated life. Gosh, it's less well known that he was a stockbroker in Paris. Well, I'm already learning. He worked as a tarpaulin salesman in Copenhagen, a canal digger in Panama City, and a journalist exposing, I did know about that, exposing the injustices of French colonial rule in Tahiti. Wow, so what a wonderful subject for a biography. And look, some fantastic photographs and you know, images of his art in here. Oh, look, there's a Van Gogh, or Van Gogh, however you pronounce it. Wonderful. Oh, I love the look of that as well. Life of Paul Gauguin. 2 more left. I get sad. No, I'm not, because I've got to read all these. Oh, so What the Wild Sea Can Be, the Future of the World's Oceans. So this may well be an environmental type book, she says, stating the obvious. Helen Scales, authoritative and entertaining, a thrillingly, can't even say it, expansive, deeply personal and often startlingly beautiful portrait of the ocean and its inhabitants. Having recently been in the very privileged position of being very close to 2 blue whales in the wild, this, you know, I feel very inspired to read something like this. In fact, there are whales pictured on the map here. In the is it a frontispiece? I don't think it is a frontispiece. I can't remember what you call the first two pages like that. No matter where we live, we are all ocean people. I think that's a fair statement. She takes us into the realms of animals that epitomise current increasingly challenging conditions, from emperor penguins to sharks and orcas. So another book that's focused on animals, creatures, but also I think probably got certainly an environmental take to it as well. Wonderful. And again, another absolutely beautiful cover. Look, isn't that nice? Oh, last one. Embers of the Hands, Hidden Histories of the Viking Age. So now we're going, Tom Holland has recommended at least one other of these books. I can't remember which one. It might have been The Eagle and the Hart. I can't remember. He gets everywhere. So this is Eleanor Barraclough, Embers of the Hands, Hidden Histories of the Viking Age. Sorry if I've just said that. I'm just excited. I can't help it if I'm repeating myself. Dan Snow likes it as well. A history of the Vikings that deploys their material legacy from combs to slave collars, from skulls to sundials. Now, who doesn't like a good old rip-roaring account of the Viking era? And I, you know, I still feel, I used to be really into the Vikings when I was a kid. Used to like reading all sorts of stuff about them. But I don't feel I know an awful lot. It's time to meet the real Vikings. So I think the point here is that she's looking at, not looking at the mythology and that kind of thing, but actually looking at the everyday, day-to-day existence. A comb preserved in a bog, engraved with the earliest traces of a new writing system. A pagan shrine deep beneath a lava field. A note from an angry wife to a husband too long at the tavern. Doodles on birch bark made by an imaginative child. From these tiny embers, Eleanor Barraclough blows back to life the vast, rich and complex world of the Vikings. These are not just the stories of kings, raiders and saga heroes. Here are the lives of ordinary people. That looks good too. So we've got, my goodness, oh, and again, you know, photographs, black and white, but they're there, you know, to illustrate as we go. What an amazing range of books. I'm just getting back up on my sad old knees. I am, well, I'm gonna have to go in a minute because I'm gonna have to start reading, and I haven't got a plan. Last year I did it really based on whim, and I remember I picked up the book that I thought I would least like as my first read, and it was Matrescence, because I just thought it was a word I didn't know. And I thought it sounded, take these off now, I thought it sounded a bit pretentious. Duh. I just, you know, that's just me being prejudiced. And actually it was one of my favourites of all, I think it ended up on my personal, I know it ended up on my personal shortlist. I loved that book and it's still with me. So, you know, I'm looking at these and thinking, where on earth do I start? I don't really know. I might have to do, I might have to blindfold and pick one, or I might go and get my husband to come and choose one for me to get started with. But I am really, really excited for this this lovely pile of books. And it's nice to share it. Like if I'd just been on my own, well, I am on my own, but I don't feel like I've unpacked these books on my own because I've been able to talk to you all about it. I'd really love to hear your thoughts about this long list. Which of these titles do you think you would like to head to first? In fact, maybe you should choose. I'll choose one to get cracking because this video won't go out for a day or two yet. So I'll choose one to sort of get started. But maybe I read the books that you pick. Maybe I read them in that order. So if you have got any preferences as to what you're keen to know about and which book you'd like me to read next, please put it in the comments below, because it'd be lovely to feel like, you know, you're taking part too. I don't know, I haven't done my research. I don't know which of these books are already published. I think maybe one or two of them might not be. I'm not sure the tracker one, or maybe perhaps it had to come over from Australia. I don't know, because that arrived separately. So you know, maybe that means it's not out in print yet. I'm not sure, but certainly some of these are. So also, you know, if you want to read alongside me, that would be absolutely lovely too. Please share your thoughts. And I just think, yeah, I feel it's really important that we whip up more support for this very, very important prize. I now see myself as a reader of non-fiction, and I didn't before this prize started. And it is the 30th year, of course, of the Women's Prize. So there's so much to celebrate. And can I finish by thanking the Women's Prize from the bottom of my heart for sending me this lovely stack of books. And I just can't wait to get reading now. Happy reading, everybody. Please let me know what you think. Take care. Bye.